so much, dignitaries. Today we are fortunate to have Shri S. Abdul Nasir, the Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of the others. Because leadership is not about titles or positions, it's about the life influencing the other. And this perfectly resonates with Shri S. Abdul Nasir, the Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh. And today it's my distinct honor to introduce our distinguished leader. Born in Belwai, Karnataka, Shri Nasir pursued his BCom at Mahavira College in Mudibitri, followed by a law degree from the esteemed Shri Dharmasthala Manjunatheshwara Law College in Mangalore. His legal career began in the year 1983, practicing for 2 decades at Karnataka High Court and other courts across the state. In 2003, Shri Nasir was appointed as an additional judge of the Karnataka High Court and soon after became the permanent judge. His journey to the highest level of the judiciary culminated in his elevation to the Supreme Court of India in 2017, where he served with distinction until his retirement in the year 2023. Shri Nasir's tenure in the Supreme Court saw his contribution to several landmark judgments, further cementing his reputation as a highly respected legal mind. His exemplary service led to his appointment as the Governor of Andhra Pradesh, a role he has held since February 2023. Outside of his professional achievements, Shri Nasir is a keen reader and a passion for knowledge is impeccable. Please join me in welcoming Shri S. Abdul Nasir, the Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh.
I am really a bit nervous today because I am standing in front of a very, what should I say, learned gathering and very distinguished guests and Mr. Mohandas Pai, Padma. Sri M. Shyam Prasad Kamath, Managing Director, MRPL. Shri T.V. Mohandas Pai, Conference Chairman, NATCOM 2024. Dr. M.H. Raja, National President, NIPM. Shri Krishna Hegde, Conference Co-Chairman. Shri P.R. Basavaraju, National Secretary, NIPM. Shri Stephen Pinto, Chairman, Mangalore Chapter and Convener. Mr. Richard Lobo, Advisor, Program Committee and CPO, Tech Mahindra. Distinguished guests, members of the National Institute of Personnel Management and Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resource Management, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, I extend my warm greetings to you all. It gives me immense pleasure to be here amongst you all on the occasion of inauguration of program of NATCOM 2024 organized by National Institute of Personnel Management, NIPM, in association with the Asia Pacific Federation Human Resource Management. But before I come to the subject, I had the privilege of hearing Mr. Mohandas Pai. I used to hear him in various TV debates, especially his strong views on union budget, social causes, shall I say freebies also, on freebie culture, on various topics. But friends, on one topic he has not paid attention so far. We have around, I am from judicial background, right? 20 years of my association as a lawyer for 20 years and a judge for 20 years. India has about 5 crore cases pending in the whole country. It may not relate to your subject, but I will tell you how it also relates to you also at the end. Because my advocate days I have not forgotten. 5 crore cases means I am not speaking about corporate litigation, right? That is hardly 2 to 3%, sir, hardly 2 to 3%. And you have battery of lawyers, in-house lawyers, big lawyers in the Supreme Court. But most of the 95-98% of the cases are all from villages, criminal and civil. But the shocking aspect you should know is 5 crore cases means 25 crore people are affected. Because each case may have plaintiffs, defendants, accused, witnesses, etc., etc. Each case may have 5 or 10. I am telling you the minimum. So about 20 crore households are affected by this litigation, pendency of the litigation. And litigation is cancerous. If once litigation enters into a house, there is no progress at all thereafter, because your focus will be always on litigation. Now I have heard Mr. Mohandas Pai, the statistics, etc., etc. We can be very prosperous. You have more builds, more AI, etc., etc., etc. If there is no peace in the house with this cancerous litigation, what is the use of having so much of prosperity? Right? But Mr. Pai has always innovative ideas. And if I advise on the subject, mine is the routine thing: appoint more judges, give infrastructure, the usual thing, run-of-the-mill things. But you have fresh ideas, sir. Why don't you give us some perspective? Why don't you try and focus a bit on this social, which affects 25 crore people, right? 25,000 households. And who are these persons affected? All villagers, farmers, laborers, and a case pending for decades together. What is the solution for this? So let us try to bring peace to these 25,000 households. Please advise the law ministry how to go about. And I want to tell you, your computers, AI, etc. is not a substitute for human mind to decide the litigation. It is only the human mind which has to decide the litigation. And friends, I want to tell you one more aspect. Let us stop filing the litigation today. No fresh cases at all from today onwards. Still, to solve these 25,000, this 5 crore cases, I don't know, with the existing infrastructure, you may require another 15-20 years, I think. This is one of the serious problems we have to, if you want to bring peace to our villages. ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ನಾನು ಆವಾಗವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ. ಒಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ. ಶಾಪ ಏನು ಶಾಪ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರೋ? ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಶಾಪ, ನಿನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಬೀಳಲಿ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಶಾಪ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅವ. ಈಗ ಜಪಾನಿಗೆ ಬಾಂಬೆ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ಈಗ ಜಪಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸ್ಪರಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್, ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವಾರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವಾರ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದ ವರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾಪ ಏನಂದರೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಬೀಳಲಿ ಅಂತ, ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಬಿದ್ದು ಬಿಡಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವನು ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು. ಅಚ್ಚಾ, ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಕಡೆ ಬರೋಣ. ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು, ಅದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೇಸ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಡಕಾಯಿಟಿ ಇರಲಿ, ರೇಪ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಎನಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್, 95% ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ವಿಟಲ್, ರೈಟ್? ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 90%, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 90%, 95%. That means 90% of the cases we are prosecuting him in the court, and the process itself is punishment here, because he unnecessarily suffers 90% of the litigation. Lawally, what is the presumption? He is innocent till he is actually punished. So you are punishing an innocent person for 10 years, 12 years, he goes to the advocates, pays the fees, that is something like a fine, goes to the jail, bail illa, jail. So what is happening, sir? What is the use of having so much of prosperity unless you decide this cancerous aspect affecting 25,000 crore houses? So friends, you are all enlightened class here. You can come with some fresh ideas. Payavare, please focus on this. Make some research. Because ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ run of the mill. Now I will come to the topic, right? But my statistics may not agree with what Mr. Pai said, right? There may be a bit overlapping, and the statistics may be a bit here and there. Yeah, I am not so perfect in this subject. NIPM is a premier institution of professional managers in the field of human resource development, industrial relations, labor welfare, and training and development in the country. The NatCon 2024, this year's annual conference of NIPM, organized with the theme of India at 47, Human Capital for a Developed India, is very apt, more particularly at a time when the country is passing through Amrit Kal, the period now till 2047, when the country will celebrate 100 years of independence. Our former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he said, and I quote, "A developed India by 2020, he said when he was the president, a developed India by 2020 or even earlier is not a dream. It need not be a mere vision in the minds of many Indians. It's a mission we can all take up and succeed," unquote. As you are all aware, Viksit Bharat 2047 is our country's ambitious vision to transform the nation into a developed nation by 2047. The vision encompasses diverse facets of development such as economic prosperity, social advancement, environmental sustainability, and effective governance. Realizing this vision demands unwavering dedication, a firm belief in India's destiny, and a profound recognition of the vast potential talent and capabilities of its people, particularly the youth. India is now the most populous country in the world, with 1/6 of the world's population. India has unlimited human resource potential, with more than 50% of its population below the age of 25. And more than 65% below the age of 35. With the largest demographic share of more than 50% of country's population, the youth are poised to lead India's total a developed Bharat by 2047. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has extended an invitation to the youth to actively engage in the transformative agenda through a vast movement called Ideas from the Youth for Viksit Bharat at 2047. The government's Make in India, Make for the World program has been attracting global investments in Indian manufacturing. In demographic transition, the share of the older population rises and that of the working age population begins to fall, and hence the dividend, that is window of demographic opportunities available only for a specific period. India's demographic dividend began in the early 1980s and will end by 2040. Developed countries have crossed this zone long time ago that ensured that economic growth. Currently, they are in the population aging phase and increasingly dependent migrants. That's why Indians have a lot of demand everywhere. The demographic transition offers an opportunity for rapid economic growth. If the right social and economic policies and investments are in place, when the population of a nation is youthful, the aspirations and achievements of these young people will shape the nation's future. It should also be noted that, according to a report of International Labour Organization, the youth population in India will dip to 23% by 2036 from 27% in 2021. Going by the timeline, India is fast reaching the peak of democratic dividend zone by the next decade. To take advantage of the demographic dividend, we must undertake specific targeted actions to empower young people to fulfill their potential by investing in quality education and healthcare. We must also prioritize creation of jobs, capacity building through skill development training programs, and fostering entrepreneurship ecosystem. As India embarks on an ambitious roadmap for Viksit Bharat at 2047, the country's economic surge is propelled by its strong fundamentals of domestic consumption, manufacturing, controlled inflation, growing exports, and strategic measures for investments and fostering innovation. The outlook is also promising as the country's economy is projected to increase from the current 4 trillion economy to 5 trillion in 2047, 7 trillion in 2030, and 35 trillion by 2047. In less than 10 years, India has overtaken 5 major economies of the world and became the fastest growing major economy in the world. By all accounts, we are set to be the third largest economy in the world by 2030, given the country's inherent strengths and the advantage of its enormously influential diaspora, and the strength of our human resource give it a capacity to diversify and upgrade the envisioned. But I think we have to focus a bit on GDP also, sir. Right? We may have to focus on GDP also a bit. With the current standing of being the third largest startup ecosystem with over 1 lakh startups and 100 unicorns, India is expected to become the second largest startup ecosystem in the world by 2030. India has emerged as a prominent hub for semiconductor manufacturing, artificial intelligence, and technology-driven solutions in various sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, health, education, and defense, which can act as accelerators of economic growth in the long run. With a total industrial output of more than 900 billion, India is among the world's top 5 most industrialized countries and is moving towards becoming world's largest industrialized country by 2030 with an expected output of 3 trillion. On the space research front, our India Space Research Organization is at the top, among the top 5 most successful space research agencies in the world. By the beginning of 2024, ISRO has successfully launched over 436 satellites for 36 different countries, apart from 150 of our own satellites. There is no doubt that given all these factors, India is preparing itself to be the future global superpower. Embarking on a revolutionary journey, India is emerging as a compelling force, leaving an indelible mark on the global stage. This narrative of transformation is a testament to India's relentless pursuit of progress, innovation, and influence on the world map. A nation evolves, its impact resonates far beyond its borders, heralding a new era where India assumes a pivotal role in shaping the collective destiny of nations. This was amply demonstrated by the global leadership role played by India's presidency of the G20 Leaders Summit held in 2023, with a combined participation of G20 countries accounting for 85% of the global GDP, 75% of the world trade, and representing 2/3 of the world's population. It was the highest profile of international gathering in the history of independent India. As Peter Drucker, a well-known management guru, once said, and I quote, "The ultimate resource in economic development is people." It is people and not capital or raw materials that develop the economy, right? Our commitment is to not only to have an accelerated economic growth, but also to improve the quality of life for all our citizens. That's why we have to focus on per capita actually a bit. India has one of the largest gender gaps in the labor force participation rate, a 47.8% difference between women workforce of 28.3 and men workforce of 76.1, which needs to be addressed on urgent basis. With 49% of the current enrollment in higher education comprising of female students, let us hopefully expect to see a greater participation of women in the workforce in the coming years. The Skill India mission launched by the Government of India is a step in the right direction to help workers gain further education and better skills, become competitive and get higher earnings, which in turn would lead to increase in production and a spurt of economic growth. It also leads to decrease in unemployment and poverty and improve the standard of living. The National Education Policy of 2020 aims to make India a knowledge superpower by 2040. The NEP 2020 is aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century students, as vocational education will be integrated in the educational offerings of all secondary schools in a phased manner over the next decade, in collaboration of ITIs, polytechnics, local industry, etc. In the industry 4.0, one needs to have digital skills and the will to learn and relearn to stay relevant in the job market. Digital literacy is an important trait which the graduates must have to meet the needs of the future job market and make themselves relevant and employable. Before concluding, I would like to quote the following inspirational Sanskrit Subhashita. Amantram aksharaha nasti moola maunaushadham arogya purusho nasti yojakastrastraha durlabha. Meaning, there is no letter in the alphabet that cannot be used as a mantra, and there exists no root which cannot be used as a medicine. Likewise, there is no incompetent or unworthy person. But rare is a person who knows how to make good use of all this. I thank the organizers for having invited me to be a part of this function. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.